Did you want waffles?
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
It is Friday, which means that we are here.
Yep, whether we like it or not.
Whether we like it or not, we are here.
That's part of the pact. We don't want to. I didn't want to start off with lore drop, but that's part of it.
That's part of it.
We have to be here.
Oh man! Anytime I hear anyone say like it's part of it, I think of. Do you ever see the David Pumpkins SNL skit?
Yes.
Where they're like, "What are the skeletons?" And they're like, "Part of it."
Yes,
that is what I think of every time anyone says part of it. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Warlocks and Waffles, a TTRPG morning show. We are here to deliver all of that good morning energy that you need to get your day started. So let's do it.
That was it. That was all of it. you got all of we got right in the beginning.
I ran out of energy
We
immediately.
floored it and it's done. We
Oh,
didn't
man.
listen to Bob the Builder. I don't know why I say Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder?
There was a dumb episode of
Can
Bob the
we
Builder
build
where
it?
they needed
Yes,
they needed
we
to they needed to save gas, and then it was like if you don't use all if you don't floor it, you could save. That's how I learned how to conserve gas. Everybody. Yes.
Good
Goodbye.
morning. Starting again. Oh man, it has been a wild week here. I don't know about you, Judy. It has been a wacky week. I feel like this week has been 1,000 years long.
Give me some wackiness. Name one thing you're just like, I wish this had more logic or explanation or didn't happen to me.
Oh, it's all work stuff.
It's all okay.
It's all just work where I'm like, why? Anyone who has ever worked in customer service will immediately understand that if you're working in customer service, sometimes customers are insane and they do things and you're like, why? But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
No.
We have things to talk about.
Things and stuff. Once again,
A doc. Things.
There's
a document. There's an outline.
Yes.
Yeah, we are professionals.
Yes.
And professionals have Google Docs that are just titled episodes.
Yes.
And they break down what we're supposed to talk about.
Third bullet point: hot takes. That's what we're on right now.
We're on hot. Okay, so you want a hot take?
Yeah, give me a hot.
You want a
take.
hot take right now?
Yeah,
Everyone who plays a game like Dungeons and Dragons thinks they want to fight a dragon until they fight one dragon that is run well. The moment they fight a dragon that is played to the full capabilities of a dragon, they don't want to fight a dragon anymore. My wife has played D&D with me for a couple of years now, and they for the entire time have been like they want to fight a dragon. They want to go and do a dragon fight, something like that. And we watched the new season of Legends of Vox Machina, which is the Critical Role animated series. And in that season, they're going through the Chroma Conclave arc, and so they're like all the big dragons. And the first scene where they were like introducing the dragons, and they're just like destroying everything. She's just like, I don't want to fight dragons anymore. I don't want to fight a dragon. These are terrifying. Why are they horrifying monsters? And I'm like, cuz they're dragons. That is my hot take of the week. Dragons are underplayed. They are far too intelligent for the amount of effort that goes into most dragon fights. What's your hot take this morning, Junie?
Oh, messing with your players is okay.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's just you're as long as you're not being a jerk with it and making it so they can't trust you ever. Go for it. Why not? I did some shenanigans yesterday, and I was
the chat says that's not even a hot take, Junie.
Well, I mean, there's some people may go.
It's a warm take.
Well,
it's not a hot take, but it's
like, what
definitely
did I do?
warm.
I I had a session where there's like an evil kind of Willy Wonka-ish mad scientist, and a room was filling up with gas, and they're like, oh, if we just complete this task, the gas will stop. No, the room was filling up with gas, and they all just blanked out, and I was like, all right, you're all level 2 now. And they were like, wait, what? Did we just pass out? It's like, yeah, oh no, you're all unconscious. And then okay, and then they woke up. And part of this doctor's thing is they can kind of put your brain in different bodies. So I had them roll, and I just went to constructs and went to like from challenge rating 2 and lower.
Yeah.
And the higher the challenge rating, the better the thing was. And the first person, do you know what a duo drone is?
The name sounds familiar. I can't call it.
It's like a little construct that has like a lower box and an upper box and like a weird stretched out face that's pulled.
Yeah,
taut,
yeah. It's one of the Modrons, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
One was that.
Incredible.
And somebody was an Iron Defender, and the 2 people were kitty widgets. But like I was like, they to test their adaptability, they were given new bodies to see if they can adapt to change.
That's so good.
The person that rolled a 20, they got a pentadrone, so they had like 5 arms, and they were like, I'm a god, I'm taller, because they were halflings, so it was like, I'm taller and I have 5 attacks. This is amazing. They're gonna be depressed going back, but I was like, I took your bodies, you'll get them back. It's just like but you're gone. There's a little bit I know that there are some people that go like, well, I started to get attached to that character, and you just Oh, hey, Mike's in the chat. Hey, Mike. Oh my god, Mike, you have COVID. I'm sorry.
I had a game last night where they had to go to this tavern to like meet a contact, and they walk in, and I described the bartender as being this like very tall human in air quotes.
Oh, I love that.
And he's just this very tall human, kind of gaunt, hunched over. His face is just a little too long and a little too sunken in, but like he's probably human. He doesn't look like anything else. And they like walk in and they start asking him questions about like, has this person shown up? We're looking for this person. And the bartender like looks them over, looks at the guy who's asking him questions, and just goes, "You a cop?" And the guy's like, "No." And he's like, "Prove it." And so then he went out into the street and was just like throwing burning hand spells into the air. He's like, "See, a cop wouldn't do that." As soon as he walked out, he turns to the rest of the party. He's like, "So now that the cop's gone, you guys are here for drugs, right?" And just like sold them drugs. And immediately,
is that what they were there for?
No, absolutely not. But they still bought drugs immediately. The one of the drugs I gave them, I called Mage Slayer, and it's a drug that just dials up your arcane potential, and so when you take it, it just, all of your magic just wants to leave your body. So they're like taking these drugs, and they're just like, their hands are just like just fire flying out of it. They're like, "Oh, this seems bad." I would make it that your spells always launch at a spell slot above. Yeah.
Like,
well, so the reason it's called Mage Slayer is because like the average person it like unlocks like dormant magical potential, and so it gives you like oh, the average person can make like illusions and like their hands glow and they do like all of this like basic magic stuff. If somebody who has magic takes it, there is the potential that it just like heightens your magic so much that you just incinerate yourself. So like mages get destroyed by it constantly. The other drug that they took was just called Baja Blast, and it made you feel good. That was it. But yeah,
It's good.
Mess with your players. It's fun. Send one player out of the room to try and prove that he's not a cop, and then immediately give the rest of the group drugs.
What I love is that wasn't even the point.
No, they were there to meet a goblin named
story.
Snuggles.
That is another. All right, this is not what we're here for. But
We're not here to talk about any of this, but it is a thing that happened last night. It was very entertaining for me.
We are here to talk about acquiring things. So this is my smooth, effortless segue into segment 1. What are we here to talk about? What are we talking about?
Unrelated to what we're going to talk about, but I'm
sorry.
I threw you. I'm sorry.
I laid you up a pass for the intro to the first segment, and you're like, yeah, what about that? You slap it to the ground.
Transitioning. Rafiki has told us that if we want like stingers made for anything, that he's willing to do this for us. I think I
put him out of business.
I think
Did I just put him out of business by doing my.
I think we need a transition that is just like a cool guitar riff, and it's just like flawless transition.
Yeah. That is good. That is good.
Okay, I needed to get that out. Now, do your very good transition. Go ahead.
No, I threw it to you. I volleyball set it for you. I volleyball set you the perfect set, and all you had to do was slam it to the ground, and then you just kicked it back into my face. 2 things wrong with that. 1, volleyball, you don't use your feet.
That's fair.
And
are
2,
you allowed? I don't play volleyball. Anyone in the chat, are you allowed to use your feet in volleyball? Like if it was falling and I just kicked it, is that against the rules? Unrelated. I'm just curious.
I'm like 90% sure that you can't do that.
I just want to know, like, what if I kick it so good though, and it does go over the net? Anyway, unnecessary divergent.
For the audio listener, my face is going through so many things right now.
He's going through the 5 stages of grief right now. Here is our topic for today. Favorite magic item that isn't a bag of holding. It seems like a wide category.
Yes, but one that we could revisit. So we
absolutely could come back to this. I feel like
the
spirit of this game is favorite magic item that isn't a bag of holding, but is in that same like category of like iconic magic items that are like super useful in like different situations, right?
Yeah.
So and different ways to utilize those items. So we're not talking about like, what's your favorite magic item? Oh, I'm really into the Eye of Vecna. Like that's not the topic here. We're talking, yes, Rosie, bag of tricks, the bag of beans, the immovable rod. We can get into the I know it's a little bit more powerful. We can get into the deck of many things and why it is my absolute favorite magic item of all time. Junie, what is it for you? What is your favorite magic item that is not a bag of holding?
The Eye of Vecna. As soon as you said that, I was like, "Well, I'm going to just say something of Vecna. I'm going to just say it."
My favorite magic item. Have you ever heard the story of the head of Vecna?
No.
There is there is an iconic. I think it was a Reddit thread of somebody who in their game started circling legend of this magic item called the head of Vecna. And for anybody who is unfamiliar with the eye or the hand of Vecna, The eye and the hand of Vecna, the way they work is that they are an eye and a hand, and you have to like take out your own eye and replace it with the eye of Vecna, or chop off your hand and replace it with the hand of Vecna. So this GM circulated these rumors in his game that there was this magic item called the Head of Vecna, and it was locked in this dungeon, and his groups went off to find it. And when they got there, they were like, based on the other artifacts of Vecna, assumed that in order to utilize it, they would have to chop off their head and replace it with the Head of Vecna. So they just died, and it wasn't a magic item. It was just a regular mummified head that was missing one eye.
Wait, did more than one try it?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've read
I was
the
about to say, I was
original.
like...
But yeah, I know at least one of their players did have a character die, because they just had somebody chop off their head to replace it with the magic item, and it did not work.
That's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust, right? All right, man, you ready to chop my head off? It's like, yeah, man, are you sure about this? Like, yeah, definitely, just go for it. Yeah, I'm in. Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep. So, yeah, iconic. What is your favorite magic item that is not a bag of holding or one of the artifacts of Vecna?
The Foot of Vecna. No.
Oh my goodness.
I like to solve one logistical problem, because I know that for newer players, I don't even want the idea to start circulating in their head of how to go around this. And I know that there's some other players that get really too nitty gritty into this type of thing. But I like it's an item that you can use like the traditional way, or you can do like a homebrew item. Like I've seen these, and in Critical Role they had basically like these sending stone earrings, or sending stones, but just something that allows players to communicate a little bit at a distance, so that way it makes sense that if they're like literally on the other side of a rock or a building or something like that, they can still kind of coordinate. Where if you have a group that they're okay with like being like, no, you don't know that, no, you didn't see this, that's fine, yeah, but then there's some others that they still need to kind of talk it out a little bit, and I don't always want to like nickel and dime them. It's like, no, you can't help each other, because especially for newer players, you know, they don't know what their options are, you know, so it's something like
allowing people to use what they know from the table in the session.
So it's not like meta gaming, but at the same time you would see your friend and you'd be able to kind of like, no, seriously, go right now, you know. So I love giving them some avenue of communication, or just praying somebody has message where they can kind of finger guns at least talk to each other or something, and kind of reminding them they have that option to create a fun dynamic way where it's like, okay, well, two of you can communicate, so it's like, okay, I don't feel bad about nickel and diming them. It's kind of now funny that you have to always go through so and so in order to say something, so then it becomes a game of telephone. But I like giving them sending stones pretty early, or some sort of
sending stones is a very good one.
It is, but like if on paper as written, I think it's just a once a day thing.
Is it? I know.
I think it is. It's send the sending spell like once per dawn. I could be wrong, but like I make them more like walkie talkies.
Yeah, I've always done them as walkie talkies.
I thought it was like there was a real limitation on them, but I've done it like bracelets, and so the limitation is like you got to say it out loud. And my favorite variant was it was a foreman's bangle.
Wow, yeah, it is once per day. That's wild. Yeah. I have literally never had a set of sending stones that was only usable once per day.
I've given it like a quest giver where it's just like as written, I'd be like, you can communicate with me once. If like basically like if you have a question, you can ask one question. So that's when I use it as written. But there was one thing I gave to somebody. It was the foreman's bangle, and it was essentially it would let you use message, like the cantrip, whatever, or it would let you cast the sending spell like once, but it's like it's supposed to make you like the foreman of a construction site. So no matter how you deliver it, no matter how you say it aloud or in your head, the receiver always hears it in a loud, angry yell. So you go, it's just like, hey, listen, did you go find this one thing? We have to return it to the guy before sundown. It's just like, did you find that motherfucker? And they hear it aggressively. And with a sending spell, like there's a word limit. And I was just like, my one caveat is it's like I wrote it in. I was just like, you can go past the 25 word limit if you shout it out loud. So
Excellent.
it's like 25 limit, 25 words if you can send it. But if you out loud, so if you're like in a tavern or whatever, or outside in the forest and you don't care who hears you, then that's fine. Otherwise, I'll let you go past the limit and say as much as you want, but your character is just yelling into the air.
Right.
And if that betrays your scenario, like your stealth, then you know you're gonna do that. You're making that call, but it's just an aggressive message. So it's an aggressive filter that lets you communicate.
Yeah, one of my groups has access to the sending spell, and every time they cast it, they just will add. We've reflavored the way sending works because of the way they cast sending. They do it as if they're texting, so they will put they put emojis in their sending. They like it's so good.
That's interesting.
The one they sent last night was they put like cowboy emoji, disco man emoji, like they put like
that's
really
interesting because
really
you're giving them a lot of
emojis. Yeah, but it is, oh my goodness, it's so funny.
Mike, thanks for thanks for
thank you for the subscribe. But yeah, they still have to stick to the like 25 words or less, but they can send like emojis through it. Which is very entertaining because now the like anyone that they have sent they're sending to also wants to use it that way, where they're sending emojis and stuff.
That's very generous because I immediately see how that can be abused because you can say a lot of words with one emoji.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's really a way to like get more bang
if you
for your buck.
If you get real creative cool with it, you can utilize it in different ways. But if you're like sending emojis to relay information, you're also relying on the person you're sending it to decipher what you're trying to say with the emojis.
Oh, that's an insight check.
It's super fun.
Super duper an insight check or an intelligence check. That is basically, they have to interpret what this drooly face emoji, what you're really trying to say there, and I can see how that can be taken out of context and just misconstrued. It's just like, you were flirting with me. It's like, what? I said that. No, what are you talking about? Yeah, no, I definitely see that.
It was a lot of fun. So here's the thing. I have, obviously, Deck of Many Things is my favorite Magic item. I love it. I am a chaos gremlin. So any chance to inject that into a game, I will take. They are just, I have a very fond memory of a Deck of Many Things in my
I have
my first my first D&D campaign. One of my players, or one of my characters, my first ever character, I had an interaction with a Deck of Many Things, and like it is a very fond memory for me. I don't understand when people are like, I hate the Deck of Many Things, it ruins games. It's like, only if you let it, like, be fun.
Be fun, coward.
Yeah, be fun. I think I have two that I think are my absolute favorites as far as like less powerful Magic items. The first one is the Robe of Useful Objects, which is a robe covered in patches. You pull a patch off of it, it becomes a real thing. There's a ton of crazy things on there, like a giant door and a 10-foot hole, and like all of these different things on
boat?
there. There's a boat.
Isn't one like dogs?
My favorite one on there is just mastiffs. And you can just pull a patch off and it becomes dogs. And I had a player in one of my games once who, upon getting the robe, immediately pulled those patches off and made dogs and was like, these are my pets, I love them, they will come with me everywhere. And they had them for the rest of the campaign. Anytime they would have to like go somewhere and they had to like leave the dogs behind, they would find like a local courier service and give them a bunch of gold to like transport the dogs from the city that they were currently in to where they were going to be. But like they always got the timing wrong, so they'd be like, okay, well, get them to this place as soon as possible, and it'd be like a month later, and by a month later they're already no longer in that place. It was a very fun, just additional thing. I also love an immovable rod. There is so much chaos that can come up in an immovable rod. I think
That's my personal favorite.
my favorite like day-to-day magic item is a homebrew one that exists in my world, which is the Chamber Pot of Cleanliness, which is just a chamber pot that has a permanent enchantment on it to cast Prestidigitation on the inside of it. So if you shit in this chamber pot, it just evaporates anything that you shit into it. It gets rid of all the any waste products. It's just a very dumb explanation to mean that I never have to worry about like going into details on how my sewer systems work.
This is interesting because we're tap dancing into like going back and forth because we've both done this where it's homebrew and regular items, and we both already done the thing where we will take a real regular item and just either not use it correctly, like, because also I only if I'm doing it, an NPC gives them it, I always use the sending stones as walkie-talkie. But like taking a regular item and modifying it, or just end up using homebrew. I went through a phase where I was just like, I'm gonna make like intentionally make a homebrew that like that are real cool. And I have like a list, so I think we should definitely do a homebrew, our favorite homebrew episode.
Oh, absolutely.
But real quick, my favorite item that have you ever like improvised an item on the spot?
Yes.
My favorite improvised item, and I don't even know if I have it written down the way it was, but it was, I needed to magic DM like shenanigans in how like an NPC that was like a teacher, how he knows something.
Okay.
And the way I did it, I was just like, well, he would like interrogate him. He would not maybe torture him, but he would do something to get it from him. And it was, he took out like a wicked looking dagger, and it was just, the words started flowing out of me, and and it wasn't until the end that I was like, oh my god, where did any of that come from? And it was a dagger with like a helix pattern, like it kind of like crisscrossed in front of itself, and had two little points, and he went to stab it at the guy's head, but it goes like, just doesn't sink in, it just goes right there and it glows, and then he pulls it out like imagine like an old-timey like a fountain pen that you have to like and then you fill up, and as he's like, he just kind of stabs a little bit, and as he's pulling out, it looks like a thread, it looks like a red thread,
don't
and
like
then the center helix part, it doesn't stab in, it was almost like it goes up to it, right?
Yeah.
And then the center helix part like fills up like with a light, right? And I'm thinking like, all right, he extracted the thing, now what? And then he took out like a notebook and then turned the knife around and started to carve into it, and it would jot down the like bullet point summary of whatever information he extracted. And it was like cool. It was like an interrogator's like dagger or something like that.
That's cool.
But like, it depending on how high the roll was, the more information he got,
right?
And the way he would get it like down is he'd have to like carve it into it, and it would just like hand write it. But it was like, you saw it like the level of like light inside the helix going down and down and down until he used it all up. But like after the end of it, somebody was just like, damn, that's cool. And I was just like, yeah, I didn't know that existed. Like, you know, I was just like, that just happened right now on the spot. And it was, I amazed myself in that moment where I was just like, oh, I should do this for a living or something. Like that was cool. I like making daggers. I realized that about myself right now when
daggers
I look at my
are
homebrew. I've made a lot of different types of daggers, and they can be a weapon. They have a utility for stabbing, but they can also do something cool. But have you ever had a favorite improvised homebrew item, a favorite improvised item, whether you took one that existed and modified it real quick on the spot, or one that you were just like, well, that's a thing now, and I made that?
Oh man. Let's see here. I think my favorite one was I gave it's not fully a homebrew, but it was a weapon that I gave to the group. I think it was like a greatsword or something like that when I gave it to them. And then realized after I had given it to them that nobody nobody had proficiency in greatswords, so it was like not a weapon that any of them could like fully utilize. And so they were like passing it around and stuff. And as I'm realizing, oh, no one is going to be able to use this like fully, I added an additional feature to it that it was a weapon that would shift, and it was like this liquid metal that would like almost like Terminator 2. It would just change its shape to whatever weapon you wanted it to be. So as they're like passing it around, the barbarian picks it up and he's like, I mean, I could swing this, but like it's not my regular weapon. He had like a crazy cool like great axe that he was using, so he could technically have used it. But he's like looking it over, and then the blade just started expanding and then reshaping itself to be this like really gnarly looking axe. And then it turned into this thing of like, ooh, give it to me, and then just passing it around and it taking the form of like the weapon that like they had already that they were like attached to. It would take that form and then they were like molding it and changing it.
That's dope.
Which was very, very fun. I ended up giving that weapon, I gave it the ability to also absorb properties from other things. So if they had a magic weapon that they were really attached to, because I wanted them to keep this for like the quest reasons, if they had a magic item that they were attached to, they could essentially let this weapon absorb that weapon, and it would take on the properties of that weapon.
That's some Mega Man stuff. I like that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Oh man, we can talk about this for a long time because I already have like 15 other items here that I love. And last thing, have I told you about the egg of distraction that I have? I don't even know if I think I made this up, or it's just an egg.
Dude, I have so many things like that where I'm like, I think I made this up, but I've also seen it on the internet all I know is that since then, and I don't know how that happened.
It's my favorite dumb item to give people, but because it's either a hit or miss where somebody's just like, oh, okay, I guess, and other people are so unbelievably excited to use it, but it's an egg, and if you take it and spin it, spin it into a room almost like a Beyblade, everybody that looks at it has to roll, I think it might be a 13 or an 11. It's not a high DC, but they have to roll a wisdom saving throw or fail and just admire it. Look at that egg spinning. Look at it go. And it's like a good minute of just everybody admiring this damn egg. It's an egg of distraction, and you just literally can sneak by them as they're like, look at it go. It's just spinning right there.
Have you ever played the Hitman video games?
No.
In the Hitman video games, you can just like throw a coin into a room, and it like clicks across the ground, and people are like, "What was that?" and like walk over to it and like reach down and pick it up. Though that's what that reminds me of.
Just a coin.
Davy Jones also wants me to point out that there is in my world there is a guy that is a sword. And that Davy Jones got feeble-minded for. There's
a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot to unpack there. There in my world there is a magic school where like they train wizards in how to do stuff. And there is any wizard that goes there has to choose like which school of magic they are like looking into, right? And so obviously there's an enchanting department where people work on like enchanting magic items and stuff like that. Because it is a college where there's a bunch of students making a bunch of enchanted items that like aren't quite good enough to actually be like sold. There is one college student who like sits at this local dive bar and sells discount magic items that are like different things. That group bought a magic sword, a magic sentient sword from that guy, only to find out that it was a student from the college who had accidentally turned himself into a sword. And the fact that he had been turned into a sword was like he was dying. He was like, I shouldn't be a sword, and I am, and it's life is pain. And so they are now on this like
it hurt
this
to
whole
fight
thing
with him?
Yeah. They're on this whole quest now to like find this item that can break a curse, so that they can like release him from his.
Did they still fight with him?
They gave it to their barbarian, who used it as a more of a a person that he would occasionally pull out and just talk to. He never used it as a weapon.
Okay,
I think they
I was
used.
about to say,
I
is
think
this
it used it one time, and the guy was just screaming in the barbarian's head every time it happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds like really messed up.
yeah. It was yeah.
Yeah.
That's always fun. They also from that guy bought a set of magic bunny ears. There's just like a headband with bunny ears on it. That you have advantage, I think, on any, or no, your charisma increases while you're wearing it because you're so cute. But
Oh,
also
that's good.
nobody can take you seriously.
That I opened my mouth to say, what, can nobody take you seriously though? And you said it, and I was like, that's how that is.
Yeah.
Sometimes this is just how items have to work.
Yeah.
Like this is logistically it, and that's one of those. That's really good.
Oh man, we are at about our halfway point. So we should go into our new segment,
Yes.
which is a lot of fun. Let me just switch up the music here real quick.
I'll hear it. I'm sure it's good.
Welcome to the Ranger Report. I'm here with all your morning news needs. Let's send it over to Junie with the weather.
Oh, shit. I forgot about this. It's like, hi. It's just you see deer in headlights.
Yeah. What's
so for today's weather
like,
report? So today, the weather in your D&D game, it is incredibly overcast. Not just regular overcast, like depressingly overcast. There's a bit of a little bit depression in the air where everybody's just sadder than normal. Sunlight isn't the only thing that's being blocked away by these clouds. It's happiness. So work that into your games as you have depression clouds with a 45% chance of depression clouds, and you work on clearing that up. Hopefully some adventurers will come through and clear that up so it's 100% sunny skies and happiness. But for right now, it is a 45% chance of depression clouds. The weekend weather,
You've
it's
said
looking
depression
like,
clouds so many times.
because I can't not. I want to remember it. I want to remember
in
this
local
for later.
news. In local news, a baby displacer beast is currently stuck in a tree end. More on this story as it develops. This episode of the Ranger Report is brought to you by Not Your Grandmom's Bags. Junie, tell the people at home all about this wonderful partner.
Are you tired of carrying around boring bags that don't show off your love for your favorite fandoms? Well, listen up, Warlocks and Waffle fans. We have something for you. Introducing Not Your Grandmom's Bags. It's a business that sells handmade messenger bags, tote bags, wristlets, and other and pet bandanas. I have runs this. It's really awesome. Each bag and accessory is sewn with 100% cotton and canvas, so everything is high quality. I wish I had one directly right next to me. The wristlets, the little handbags, they're perfect for holding dice, y'all. So if you want a Doctor Who or Star Wars themed dice bag, this is for you. They have a whole lot of fandom styles. They have Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Disney, more. But imagine you walking down the street and people are like, "Oh, where'd you get that Dr. Seuss handbag?" It's Not Your Grandmom's Bags. For everybody that's joining us, you can use Waffles at checkout for 15% off your purchase. So why settle for a boring bag when you could have a unique handmade item that shows off your inner geek? All right. So check out Not Your Grandmom's Bags and start carrying your fandom with pride today.
Excellent. We do have a quick update on that earlier news story. Just a quick update. That Displacer Beast kitten, well, a group of adventurers has been dispatched to rescue it, and a local druid has asked them to please be careful not to burn down the forest in the process. The adventurers have assured them that the fire will only be used as their first resort. In events, a local village is hosting a festival in honor of the end of winter fast approaching, but some worry that the festivities may anger the nearby frost giants, which could result in a second winter. This has been the Ranger Report. We'll come back at you next time.
You know what it is? Those depression clouds, right? It's they just really made those frost giants not happy.
You said depression clouds so many times.
Because I
The
wanted to hammer it into my brain and your
yeah
brain. I want
the
everybody to go, this is a weather phenomena. And like, don't you have a weather? I'm not, this is, all right, real talk. Don't you have a favorite weather phenomena? Like, I know it sounds weird, but like thunder snow, have you heard of thunder snow?
no.
This is a real thing. Like, it's when it's like, it's snowing, but there's still like, you know, whatever happens to make thunder happens in real
Ooh.
life. So like thunder snow is my favorite, like real life weather phenomena. And when I saw depression clouds, I was like, well, that sounds like that. So I was just like, I want to remember this because it's just like a world where it's like the weather literally affects your mood.
My favorite weather phenomena is freezing fog. Which
That sounds fucking crazy.
It's
Yeah.
horrifying. Yeah, it's real crazy. Anybody who's out there, look up freezing fog. It is a horrifying real thing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that is the Ranger Report. We'll be bringing that to you going forward.
I love it.
For all of your TTRPG
And I will
news.
write down the weather. Or you know what? No, I kind of like that if there was one bit that the other person didn't know was in there because I was like, shit, I need the weather. I need the weather right now.
That bit will always be there. We also have a real ad this time,
Yes.
which is very fun. We do want to hammer home that is a real
super
ad, and
real.
a real partner.
Yes, that is a real thing. You
Unlike
can totally
other
go with
things
it.
that we have said were real in the past and weren't.
Yeah, but they not your grandma's back. They have so many things. But yeah,
it's crazy.
Like, it's sports. If you're into sports, you can get something. But those dice bags, I've told her more than once. Those wristlets, I was like, if you just put dice in the description, somebody will. Yes. She takes custom requests. I'm sure she will like figure. If she doesn't have the pattern, she'll find it.
Okay.
All right, so I didn't look at the title of the next segment. I knew what we were talking about, but I want you to go ahead and explain this next bit right here.
I didn't name this segment. So
I didn't. Did I?
You definitely did, because I did not write that. Apparently, segment number 2 is called Hags of Holding.
I thought you had an angle. I was
no,
just like,
I did not write this.
Oh, he's gonna be talking about
Streams haunted.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we talking? It's like, all right, who are these ladies giving us these bags? Like, I don't know, these bag ladies.
Oh my goodness. So this is we've talked about the whatchamacallit, favorite magic items that aren't bags of holding.
Correct.
So now we're going to talk about bags of holding. Specifically, they are an iconic item. They are an item that every player needs at some point, to the point where like artificers can just make them, because they definitely will need to have one on hand.
You know something I've never done, and I think this is something people I've seen on actual plays, and I personally have never done it because I don't want to. I love giving random things, but this is something I've never wanted to even attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Have you given a bag of holding to players that already had stuff in it, but they didn't know?
Yes. Yeah.
I personally have not done that.
It's fun.
And I don't know if it's because I'm like, oh, they're never gonna reach in, or they're gonna keep reaching in, and then I gotta just constantly deny them until they find the thing, or make it random.
So
and it's just there's so many hurdles, and I was like, I haven't.
Here's how you solve that. Any items that are in the bag of holding, if you just turn it inside out, all of those items will dump.
Yes.
So you can immediately like open it up, get all of those items out. I had a group of mine that they went after this like assassin, and when they took him out, they got his bag of holding off of him. And they like reached in, figured out it was bag of holding. They're like, okay, we have no idea what's in here, so we don't know what to like look for. And so they turned it inside out. And what this assassin had done is filled the bag, had just dumped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of poisoned darts into the bag. so that when they turned it, like if you didn't know what you were looking for and you just reach in or you just like turn it inside out and it throws them everywhere, it is going to propel hundreds and hundreds of poison darts in all directions from where the bag was dumped.
Oh my god.
And it was very nearly a TPK of this group who like just got obliterated by these darts. It was very entertaining to watch.
Now, did they know that part of the inside out part, like as players, and so they or did they figure it out? Did you drop hints? Because I think that's always something where I was like, I'd want them to figure it out organically, without me going, you can turn it inside out. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
if I have a newer group, how would somebody figure out that there could be something in there? Because if I get like, oh, this belonged to a wizard, or oh, they might be able to hazard a guess because it belonged to somebody. But if they just find it, then it's just like, oh, I found a cool bag. They're never gonna think who had this beforehand, and that's
Right.
how you drop the lore that like, and even the possibility. But in my situations, it's usually like it just didn't work out that way where I could like make it flow organically. So I just like, well, I'm not putting anything in here because I've wanted to do something like that. That sounds awesome, but that had a story. It was an assassin. He did this, and then that's what it was filled with. So I love that.
Yeah,
but I haven't had a way to connect dots for people. It just hasn't worked out.
I'm also a fan of like there are potion bottles in the bag, and when they turn it inside out, they just shatter as they hit the ground. That's really fun as well.
I make potion bottles hardy.
I normally do. But just to like drive home the point of like, hey, maybe don't always do this is a fun one. Because like you can't just have a bag that is filled with poison darts. Like that's useless. There needs to be other stuff in there. So there were like poison, like bottles of poisons, bottles of potions, other stuff. He had a scroll tube that was like booby trapped that if it was exposed to the air and it didn't get opened in the correct way, the paper inside would just dissolve immediately. So that's where he had the his like orders and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Like it's so much fun to build out characters that are like very prepared.
That's good. Have
but
you
yeah,
ever had
bags of holding, they're fun.
Have you ever had the double
bag of holding
space?
Yeah.
You want to explain that for people that for people who don't know? There's a special property about bags of holdings that is dangerous.
Bags of holding are a demiplane. They are their own little like pocket dimension. Because of that, they are a very volatile if put into other bags of holding or other demiplanes or anything like that. So if you take a bag of holding and you put it into another bag of holding, it rips a hole in space and opens up a rift into the astral sea and just sucks everything around it into the astral sea and then closes on itself.
Yep.
I have seen players do it. I have also seen players do it as a weaponized approach to something.
Yes.
So they're like, oh, I'm going to intentionally get this bag of holding into another thing to be able to like set a trap for these things. Have you ever seen the arrow design? Somebody drew up a design of an arrow that has a mini bag of holding situated in it, and then up in the tip there is a rolled up portable hole, and there's a pin in it so that the portable hole won't like move into the bag of holding. But before you launch it, you pull that pin and you launch it, and when it hits, it pushes the portable hole into the bag of holding and rips a hole in space-time.
That's wow.
It's a very expensive arrow.
I was about to say that has to be like the time and energy and resources to create one is bananas. I just thought about how it would if you played fast and loose with the pocket dimension mechanics of it, how cool it would kind of be to make you know how like in a bag, like a purse or a book bag, where you can kind of have like a hidden pocket.
Yeah.
Putting an Inception style pockets within pockets situation, where if you wanted to hide something so well, and it's like, all right, we have this orb of Triglodyte, we got to make sure. But if somebody reaches into your bag and they think the orb of Triglodyte, what if you put that orb in another bag and then put that bag in there, so when somebody thought of the orb, they couldn't get it because that's not where it was. That's not what they'd be asking for. You'd have to ask for the bag that have that. And if you allowed a tiny pocket within a pocket situation, but just something where it's like you can kind of hide things within things and create like a little safe deposit box in there. I think that would be kind of cool. You're muted, I think, on my end. I actually, you're not muted in the podcast thing, but you're muted in the stream thing, I think. Did I cut out? Nope, I don't hear you. Oh no. Is it me? Oh, okay. Okay, good. I can vamp if I want to. But anyway, yeah, bags on bags. Until Hunter gets the sound situation fixed on his end, I am now able to just completely ramble without any sort of oh man, it shows him cutting in and out on my end, not just audio. Yeah. Bags on bags on bags. Rosie mentioned earlier the bag of tricks, and that is my favorite bag in that it just lets you have Pokemon. I definitely, when I use it, make the Pokemon noise kind of happen whenever they come out of the little furry balls. And also, basically, you can get a different colored bag, and that gives what assortment of creatures is in there. And there is a limit, because at first I'm dumb and I was just like, you just keep pulling things out, but there is like a limit of how many things you can pull per day. But you can pull out a boar or a cat or a full elk or a bear or a wolf. A panther, I think, is one of the options, and it's pretty awesome. I also think that, similar to like the robe that Hunter mentioned, I don't think they die. I think they just exist until they don't. I need to double check that one. But you just create life, which is a lot of responsibility. I like it when things have a temporary a time limit on them, so that way you don't have to keep track of them. And then when somebody thinks about it, you have to explain away what this thing's been doing this whole time. Whoa, what is this? In the comments, my ranger is lovingly referred to the apex predator cuddle pile, because if she hadn't used the bag that day, she just whips out 3 puff balls and cuddles with the animals in her long rest. Oh, they disappear at dawn. Okay. Yeah, you just make your own like cuddle pile, and they do listen to you, because that was something I think I misunderstood at first. I just made it that you just summon critters and they're running amok, but they do.
Can you hear me?
Sometimes
Hello?
I like to give
Anybody?
an item a jank.
No.
A jank property. Oh man, I can see Hunter talking.
Anybody able to hear me?
I don't hear you.
Um.
It's so bizarre. Like nothing's changed. Oh. With 3 minutes left in the show.
Rosie can hear me.
Oh.
You're the only one that can't hear me
Hunter.
anymore.
Oh, this is even crazier. They could hear you. I can't. So so we have to. The stream is haunted.
Can you hear me now, Ginny?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Weird.
The podcast can't. The Adobe thing.
Stream's haunted. Stream's haunted.
Stream's haunted. So the back half of the audio is not going to have you, but we can fix that in post. But that's weird.
Yeah, super weird. Apparently the Logitech G Hub, which is the like program that runs like my microphone and camera, decided to update, and as soon as it updated, it kicked my audio out of everything.
So tap your mic real quick. Oh, okay. You sound different. I don't know if it's the filter or something.
Weird.
You don't sound as crisp and
As
clean as you
crisp?
did a second ago, but it's okay. It's still, we know what your voice sounds like. It's okay.
Yeah,
but-
I don't know what's going on. It is what it is. We're almost done anyway.
Yeah. Give us one thing that I wanted to ask. What does a bag of holding look like to you?
So I know there's like an actual regular description of a bag of holding. I've never liked that description. So to me, a bag of holding is an enchantment that can be put on any bag. So any bag can become a bag of holding. I've also had like jackets that were enchanted with like a pocket on the inside was enchanted to be a bag of holding. I've had like a coin purse of holding. I've had a chest of holding. Like it's essentially for me any container can be enchanted with that.
I've more often than not made them messenger bags, but ever since I think it was like how the handy haversack.
Mhm.
That's where I started thinking, like subscribing to that school of thought, where I was like, oh, anything can be like pockety, dimensiony. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it started out with like it was always like a messenger bag of varying sizes. But I love doing that because then I can dictate how big something can be to go in, because people will think, oh, it's this much space, so I can put anything I want in here. It's like, no, bro. There's only like imagine
You're limited by the opening.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you can't shove a person in there that easy. But if it's like
Yeah.
a big old beach bag, tote bag, it's not easy, but yeah, you could. I mean, you can really stretch and put somebody in there.
One of my groups has they have a cinch bag, which is like a giant like beach bag, but it cinches at the top. And that's their bag of holding. So it opens up for like pretty much anything that would fit through like a 2.5, 3 foot wide opening. They can drop in there.
I just looked up the different bag options, and the one bag I've never used, and it's just because it hasn't happened, is the bag of devouring. I haven't used that, but that one is the superficially resembles a bag of holding, but is a feeding orifice for a gigantic extra-dimensional creature.
Yep.
Turning this bag inside out closes the orifice, which is a sentence that somebody had to write.
Yeah, somebody had to sit down and go, you know how I want to end this description?
Yeah.
Closes the orifice.
So the creature attached to the bag can sense whatever is placed inside the bag. Animal or vegetable matter placed wholly in the bag is lost forever. When part of a living creature is placed in the bag, it opens, reaches inside. There's a 50% chance that the creature is pulled inside, like full blown, just like nom 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 in there. The person inside the bag can try to use an action to escape with a 15 strength check, which is not low. And somebody else can pull something. Somebody else can use an action to try to pull them out. I think this is a potential. It just says if somebody wants to use an action to pull them out, they have to do so with a 20 strength check. Oh no,
that's a lot.
Oh, okay, no. Then the next part is they have to also not be pulled in, because once they reach into the bag, there's a 50% chance that they're also pulled in. Because that's immediately what I thought. Any creature that starts its turn inside the bag is devoured, its body destroyed. Like, it's just, you are gone.
Yeah.
Inanimate objects can be stored in the bag, which hold a cubic foot. However, once a day, the bag swallows any objects inside it and spits out into another plane of existence that the GM determines. So you could just toss stuff in there and go, this exists somewhere else now, just not here. that I've never fully read it because I just always saw it as like an attack bag, like a trick bag. Someone's gonna like hurt themselves. I can't be trusted with
Right.
them, and they all right. They can just use something else. Use something other than a bag. It's gonna be too hard to try to bag like the guard, but oh man, there's a lot to that. I now want to use it.
Before we depart from bags of holding,
Mhm.
since we're already talking about monsters that are attached to bags of holding,
Uh-huh.
have you heard of the Bagman?
No, no.
Okay, so the Bagman. I'll pull up the page here. The Bagman is an urban legend about an adventurer who sought to escape doom by abandoning his party and hiding inside a bag of holding. When he tried to leave, he became lost amid a constantly increasing number of extra-dimensional storage spaces. Over time, the strange forces of this magical in-between place transformed the adventurer into a monstrous creature. Now, every night, the Bagman slips out from a random bag of holding. If he doesn't find its home, he drags someone back into the bag with him and leaves behind some trinket from his hidden kingdom of lost junk. Some say that if you speak too loudly over an open bag of holding and whisper, "Follow my voice," into a magical storage space 3 times, the Bagman will come for you.
Can you do that voice of that creepy guy that I don't like that you have? That your villain from last episode, the villain episode, the salad finger sounding looking
Oh,
dude.
yeah. Follow my voice. Follow it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Follow the voice.
Is this where I'm from? Is maybe this?
Is this home?
There. Oh no! Damn it! Ooh, that one hurt. That one hurt me.
Knock, knock. The Bagman comes. So yeah, all that to say, if your players have a lot of bags of holding, they are increasing their chances of the Bagman coming to them.
I'm trying to think of like a catchphrase like, first I hold your stuff and then I hold your soul. Like, I'm like, what?
They call me a hoarder. I hoard friends.
Oh, that gave me chills. Oh, I don't feel that way. I don't like that feeling. Oh my God. Oh, I hope we got that down. Oh, this is the villain. Oh, I can't. That's a visceral reaction.
This feels like a good place to wrap up for the week.
Yo, I feel tingly on my spine. I don't like it. Oh my God.
Oh man. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will be back on Monday morning for another episode, same time, same channel, 8 a.m. Eastern time on the Warlocks and Waffles Twitch channel. We will be back for more of this nonsense. Come out and join us live. It's a fun time. Otherwise, we will see you around. If you haven't joined the Discord already, join the Discord. It is a lot of fun. I think it's fun.
It's pretty nice.
I just like talking with people. When there's a few people in there who are just very active and post like memes and stuff, and I appreciate the heck out of them. But yeah, join the Discord. And we will be back on Monday.
All right. Yeah. And remember to check out Not Your Grandmom's Bags, and you can use
Absolutely.
Waffles for 15% off your order. Get some bags. Hold all your fill them with dice. Never ever think about that horrifying person that Hunter has created, because that's the thing. You just read a thing, but that voice to it, I don't know if that was always because that's a thing now. That is a fucking nightmare. That's just, oh my God.
Yeah.
Send us off with the classic sign off here, Hunter. Let the people know what they got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember this weekend, buy a blueberry muffin, eat the top half of it, that the best part of a muffin, eat that top half, and then offer the other half to your significant other. Go to a store and buy the only item there that feels like it definitely doesn't belong in that store. And also, I'm coming for your feet. I'm gonna steal them and bring them to my pocket dimension.
Your feet, like
Yep, your feet.
specifically the
Your-
feet.
It's the part that like sticks out underneath the covers. You're just gonna reach up over the bed and take them to my home. But yeah, have a great week, everybody. This has been Warlocks and Waffles. I'm Hunter. That's Junie. And I'm the bag man. Have a great rest of your weekend.
It's legitimately upsetting me, and I'm just like, "Ugh, I love it and I hate it.